Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
It is the Morning Sports Desk on a Thursday, the 3rd of April. I'm CJ Baumgartner. That's Corey Tackman. This is the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. Corey, not a ton of local news going on because, well, there's just been a lot of snow going around. So that's been fun. Something that's come across the thing, and this was given to me by Kyle. Apparently, shoveling snow may increase the risks for a heart attack. So if there's any reason that you need to get out of shoveling your driveway, you can listen to us. It's science.
This is heart attack snow. It's heavy. Holy buckets.
It's wet. It's thick. And it's not fun. I fully am just committed. I looked at our driveway and we're kind of up on a hill. So it's really hard to get our vehicles up sometimes in the snow. I just put my truck in 4-wheel. I drive up and I'm like, yeah, Mother Nature will melt it over the next week. I'll just
it'll probably mostly be taken care of by the end of the day today. Honestly, it's a little cooler than I think was.
The sun comes out. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, by supper tomorrow, I think yesterday I said by supper Thursday. It's probably by supper Friday. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. And here's the light at the end of the tunnel, Corey. Next Thursday, we have highs at 58. There we go.
So it'll for certain be taken care of by then.
That's the hope. And the hope is that the fields dry up enough over the next week that we should be we could look at the end of next week as games on the broadcast schedule.
That's pretty fun.
That's a fun thing to look forward to. In the meantime, we do have a little bit of local news that we can get to. Corey, we were just mentioning this before we got on here. If I had a nickel for every time that we talked about a local high school student that was going on to compete collegiately in rodeo over the last week, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but like it's weird that it's happened more than once, right? It's not a football, it's not a baseball, it's not something that necessarily jumps right out at you. But according to Parkers Prairie Facebook page for the school, Orrin Hart has signed his letter of intent to compete in rodeo, steer wrestling, and team roping at Eastern New Mexico University in Portales, New Mexico. Congratulations to Orrin.
How cool is that?
Super cool.
It's like you said, it's the second time we've got to talk about a kid who's committed to the next level of rodeo, which is literally not a thing we ever talked about or would have thought would happen. And it's awesome. And I guess the only thing I really have to say extra about this is Orrin, say hi to my great aunt and uncle while you're there, please.
That's the thing. You wonder, which parts of the country it's like if you're going to go play football in that part of the world or basketball or baseball, like it's just a different level. You're right. Down there in New Mexico. You're down there in they do, turns out they do a lot of rodeoing down in that part of the world. And I got to imagine that it's pretty cool to be getting to compete down there.
Yeah. Excited for Orrin and that next step. And then you get to go see a new part of the world too, which is awesome.
You just get to see the desert. You get to see a lot of that. Based on the map here, it has kind of like the star, which I'm guessing is where Portales, New Mexico is. And it is Eastern New Mexico, kind of east central, if I'm reading this little kind of table runner that they have here from the Facebook post. Okay. And if I'm doing my geography right, New Mexico borders with Texas, correct? And that's, yep. And so basically you're kind of in that West Texas, East New Mexico part of the world where, again, they take rodeoing pretty seriously, I'm sure.
Turns out that's like cowboy country.
Mm-hmm. Which is pretty cool. Not just steer wrestling, but it's team roping. So it's multiple different things, which is really cool. Congratulations. And once again, like we talked about last week, you're braver than I, Orrin. Congratulations. Doesn't take much, but you are.
It's if you were to take Amarillo, Texas and Lubbock, Texas as like 2 points on the triangle,
mm-hmm.
like, and then get them to the. I'm trying to do this correctly on the map.
You get the hypotenuse there, yeah,
and get to the point. That's where Portales is.
So you're saying he can make Amarillo by morning?
100% he could make Amarillo by morning.
Even if he went up from San Antonio?
It'd be stupid to do that from San Antonio. That is way farther away.
Way farther away.
Don't go to Amarillo via San Antonio. That's the wrong way.
That's the very wrong way.
East of Santa Fe and Albuquerque.
Interesting.
Between Albuquerque and Amarillo. They're both on the same highway. Albuquerque and Amarillo are. That's I-40, of course, which you knew.
Of course, yeah. Who doesn't? You know what I do know, Corey? I really like the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Let's talk about them.
It's really simple. Just get the pizza you love made the way you want it. We love the buffet that the Pizza Ranch has to offer. And, I've been very clear that the stuffed crust variety of pizzas at Pizza Ranch are my way to go. What's your go-to again?
Bronco.
The Bronco. That's right. So you get there, you make your loop around, and you decide, hey, the pizza I want isn't immediately on here. You go make your request and they'll make it for you. And then they'll bring you the first couple slices wherever it is that you might be sitting. You can make it a buffet day and you can buffet your way with the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. It's probably worth mentioning again, too, in the FunZone Arcade, unbelievable games with unbelievable prizes up for grabs. And I don't think CG and I have will. I think we've been thinking about giving away a Wade Boggs jersey for all week. It's just been such an unbelievable thing that mystery jerseys at the FunZone Arcade are one of the prizes you can get if you accrue enough points in the FunZone Arcade. And they were nice enough to give us one so we could give it away here on the morning sports desk. And Zach Shaw won himself a signed Wade Boggs jersey, which is absolutely insane. It's an insane pull. So, you could go win one of those unbelievable jerseys and the mystery jerseys if you get yourself enough points by playing the games of the FunZone Arcade. Have yourself a little dinner at the Pizza Ranch buffet. Shout out Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. We're just so happy to have them on board at the morning sports desk.
And one more thing, too. I was talking with Zach the other day at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade about that jersey, mystery jersey box unveiling and giveaway. I'm not going to say that we are officially doing one, but let me put it to you this way. We're not interested in doing more in the future. Let's put it that way.
We're not done.
Don't sue us if it doesn't happen. But if you're really bummed you didn't get the autographed Wade Boggs jersey, keep listening to the morning sports desk because maybe we have in the future there could be more jerseys to give away. For sure, you should go to Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade, find Zach and say, hey, awesome jersey giveaway. You should do that again on the morning sports desk. That certainly wouldn't hurt things.
Yes. But, and then say, boy, it looks like Corey and CJ are wasting away maybe a bucket of chicken, maybe a stuffed crust Bronco pizza.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out ideas. That's all.
All right, Corey, the Minnesota Twins not only got their first win of the season on Tuesday night, there it is, yep. But they also got their first series win of the season.
Yay!
It's a lot more fun to do it now after a win. And, Corey, I do a little bit of post-game podcasting for the Locked On Sports Network for Minnesota. And I was doing one after yesterday's game, which got delayed like 3 hours due to rain, which was awesome, which meant that there was 0 people in the bleachers at guaranteed rate U.S. Cellular, Kosmicki Park, whatever they're calling it now. It doesn't matter. It's a factory of sadness. Except for us, where the Twins win a majority of the games there.
Sadness is the funniest freaking thing.
It's usually referred to like the Cleveland Browns. They're the factory of sadness because in Ohio, it's a lot like that Rust Belt factory worker. They only produce sadness.
Walking through the arch that says factory of sadness.
What's our main export? despair.
What gate do you go in?
I go in. But they asked me, they're like, what do you think was the biggest takeaway of yesterday's game? Because it's just one win over the course of an 162 game season. It doesn't mean anything really. What was the main point, though, that you could take away? And that's that the Twins' big three came to play and led the team to victory. Pablo Lopez, 7 innings, 5 strikeouts, 4 hits, only allowed 1 home run at the end when it was already like 6-0. The game was already well at hand. And Pablo was pitching in the 7th inning on his second start of the year. Pablo Lopez redeemed himself from a shaky first outing, took care of business against the White Sox, did everything he was supposed to. There was never any real threat all game long. He took care of business. Byron Buxton, first at bat, hits one to Indiana, 450 feet to dead left center at whatever, Kosmicki Park, Guaranteed Rate Field, US Cellular, who cares? Hits it, just an absolute missile out there. Carlos Correa got his first hit of the season on a seeing eye single, and you could see him like lift his hands up in the air. He's like, thank you. Finally got a hit. Because as we talked about yesterday, process good, results bad. Yesterday, I should say, he got a hit. He also got a double later in the game that was roped down the line. And made a couple nice defensive plays as well. He made a play, Corey, it was like a high pop-up, in the kind of that no man's land between left field and shortstop. And Bader was charging in. Correa called him off. His number on the back of the jersey was facing home plate. And he just casually basket catches it in shallow left center field. That guy is such an amazing shortstop. It's insane. And the Twins' big three showed up. Buxton also hit an RBI double later in the game again. Those are the big 3 players up until Royce Lewis gets back. Those are kind of your big 3 in terms of high-end talent. Those are your players, and you need them to show up more often than not. And in this game, you saw them all 3 come together. And if you're the Twins, you're like, it's one game, but you're like, this is how we need to win a lot of our games this year.
I mean, it's not, you're right, but it's also not like it's not like an evolutionary take on the game of baseball either, right? Like your best players need to play their best. And I think most teams will feel like if our best players play our best at the same time, we're probably going to win that game. It's one game. It's against like a AAA opponent. So it's all grain of salt sort of stuff. But most importantly is that, they are showing signs of life and it's very early, and they're now, in a tie for the division lead, 6 games into the season.
Yeah, you took what I was going to say next, which was the fact that even though as bad as the first game of the season was, or the first 4 games of the season were for the Minnesota Twins, look at the beautiful AL Central standings. They're all 2-4. Yeah, no,
I like how you tried to explain like it's not actually still bad. Everybody's 2-4. It's gross.
It's gross, but you know what? The Twins are in it, and we talked about you can't lose the division, or you can't win the division in April, but you can lose it. And not that the Twins were in super danger of it. But remember last year, Cleveland started like 20-5 to begin the year, and you're like, well, they just won the division. Like. Now, the Twins made a couple runs at it, but you had to expunge so much energy just to catch up to them anytime they went on a bad stretch, but then they just go on a good stretch again and make that ground back up.
But wouldn't you rather lose the division that way than starting 0-11?
Yes.
I mean, there's 2 ways you can lose the division, and that is one team catching unholy fire. And then, did we talk to Dick Bramer last year? Was that when we talked to him?
Yep.
And he was like, eventually they're going to lose, right? No, they didn't. They just never did. But the other option is to just go 0-11, and then it doesn't matter. You're not going to catch anybody.
You keep in mind the Atlanta Braves lost last night. Again, they got walked off by Shohei Ohtani hitting a moonshot against them, and they are 0-7 to start the year.
Yep.
No team has ever made the playoffs starting 0-7.
Tell me about it.
Baseball history, only one team in the last 40 years has went 0-7 and finished with a winning record.
Nice.
So the Twins avoided that. It's in the NFL. Don't go 0-3. You're not sunk, but man, is it tough.
Yeah, 0-7's really tough,
especially in that AL East.
Meanwhile, the Dodgers and the Padres are at 7 and 8 wins.
Yep, they both refuse to lose.
Undefeated with 7 and 8 wins. The Dodgers have almost as many wins as the American League Central
combined. Yes.
Now,
to be fair, the Guardians did help out those Padres by getting swept, so that's fun. It's fun to see bad things happen to the Guardians. Luis Arraez hit a home run on him, and that's how we know he's an old friend, because he's still helping us out to this day.
God bless him. God bless Luis Arraez.
All right, let's talk a little Minnesota Timberwolves and get out of here. So the Minnesota Timberwolves, now officially, unofficially, whatever, the ownership process needs to take place for Glenn Taylor to be out and Lorian Rodriguez to be in. Now that part is official, they need to get it approved by the NBA Board of Governors, which is all the owners. They need to basically approve it, which, I mean, at this point, if it doesn't, it's insane. So that's kind of what we're doing.
Oh, that'd be a fun wrinkle in this, wouldn't it?
If they're like, yeah, we don't approve the sale, and then Glenn Taylor still comes out on top. What was it? Zeke sent us a text in the thread about a tweet where it's like a Glenn Taylor woke up, realized how much the Nickeil Alexander-Walker extension was going to be, and went, you know what? You guys pay for that.
I'm set, thanks.
That's okay. I'll keep my money. I think Shams said on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, Glenn Taylor bought the Wolves for $84 million and is selling them for $1.5. He's getting out just fine.
Yeah, things are going to work out for the billionaire yet again.
That guy can pay his bills. It's okay. But if you're Glenn Taylor and you see the Celtics go for 6.1, you're like, could have maybe got it a little closer to that number, which is why he tried to back out of the deal, by the way.
Which is also evidence of why he's a big, dumb loser. No offense.
Or offense intended.
He's bungled everything for the Timberwolves since the very beginning. Why would this be any different?
So anyway, that's where things sit with the Wolves in that ownership situation.
On the side, the crypt keeper on the sidelines all the time. He's so old.
That picture of the fight on Sunday night at Target Center, do you see, like, it's a picture of him looking up like, like he looked up at the Target Center lights and he saw an angel come up and he's like, what the heck? Anyway, the Wolves have 6 games to go in the regular season. With the Clippers winning yesterday against the Pelicans, it actually helped the Wolves because tiebreaker situations over Memphis and the Clippers and whoever, the Wolves right now are the 6th seed in the NBA if the season ended today and would avoid the play-in tournament and would be in a first-round matchup with Denver, which would be just a bloodbath in the first round. But you'd avoid the play-in, so that'd be ideal. Here's the Wolves' last 6 games of the season. They play tonight, 6:30 tip-off in Brooklyn. They play Saturday, 6 o'clock tip-off in Philadelphia. They play on Tuesday night in Milwaukee, 7 o'clock tip-off. They play then next Thursday, 8:30 p.m. tip-off against the Grizzlies in a game that will be huge in deciding for tiebreakers and for record and head-to-heads. That Wolves-Grizzlies game is going to be huge. That's the biggest must-win game left on the Wolves schedule because it's the only Western Conference opponent besides Utah, who we'll get to in a second. Next Friday, you play the Nets at home. That Memphis game is in Memphis, by the way.
Sure.
You play the Nets at home, and then you play the Jazz at home on Sunday, April 13th to round out your regular season. So that Memphis game is important for obvious reasons. But, Corey, these 6 games are super important for the Wolves because if you look at the Nets losing record, Sixers losing record, Bucks, they're good, but they're weird. Grizzlies in a free fall. Nets losing record. Jazz, LOL. Like, it's so set for them to go 5-1, 6-0 over their final 6 games. But these are the Timberwolves, Corey, and we know they're going to go 3-3.
I mean, it's in play, right? It's in play for them to just be weird. I don't know.
They don't take Eastern Conference opponents that are with losing records seriously. They just don't show up. And by I also am looking at number 5. But it's a team-wide thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, he gets to take the brunt of it because
he's the star.
They traded Carl for a lot of different reasons, but one was because it's his team now. So I don't know. I mean, I just don't really know what else to take it seriously. There's 6 games left. Go win them.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 seed's still in play. Go get it. Why not? Would you rather be the 2 seed?
I would.
Yes, is the answer.
I would certainly like that. Let's look at the Western Conference standings here quick, Corey. The Wolves are the 6th seed with a 44-32 record, but they are still a half game back of the Warriors, who are the 5 seed. Getting the 5 seed would mean, actually, the way the standings are right now, if the Wolves stay at 6, they'd play the Lakers in a series. The Warriors are at the 5 seed right now. The Wolves are a half game back of them. They are 2.5 games back of the Denver Nuggets and own the season series against them. So you would only need to tie them. You wouldn't need to leapfrog them necessarily record-wise. The Lakers have the same winning percentage as the Nuggets, excuse me. So you're also 2.5 games back of them. And the Rockets look like they're going to coast to that 2 seed. The Wolves right now are 5.5 games back of them. So that's kind of all but out of reach for the Wolves. They, like you said, they could get as high as the 3 seed. They could also be as low as the 8 seed. It's just another year in the Western Conference where 3 through 8 kind of gets decided at the end of the season, which is why it's imperative that this team takes care of business. Think about the losses to New Orleans throughout the season, the loss to Utah, some of these games they have not taken seriously, and it's bit them in the keister. There were games against Golden State when they were struggling early in the year that the Wolves let slip from their fingers. And every team is going to have games like that. So it's not to say that because you lost the game, you shouldn't have won. Every team has those.
Right.
Every team has that. But the Wolves are losing to teams more than once that they shouldn't lose to. And teams like Brooklyn, teams like Philadelphia are just begging for the season to be over. So oblige them, get up early, and let them finish out the game and go on the floor. You have 2 games against the Bucks and the Grizzlies where you're actually going to get competition that's trying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the rest of the season, I mean, you play Brooklyn twice, you play the Sixers once, you play the Jazz again. Where do they go, Corey? From 0-6 to 6-0, what are you guessing they go in these final 6 games?
Well, I said the other day after the fight that I hoped that would be the galvanizing thing. And then
they were going to play tough against Denver.
And then they had, we knew they were going to play tough, but then they had this, they didn't play necessarily that well.
Right.
And somehow found a way to galvanize and win that game in double overtime. And when it mattered, so let's say 5-1.
5-1. All right. Where's the loss come from?
I don't care.
Yeah, I think the cynic in me says 4-2, and the 2 losses, they're going to beat the Grizzlies, but they're going to lose to the Nets at Target Center next Friday or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
Where it's for every whoa, nice win, Wolves, they're going to beat the Bucks in Milwaukee. They're going to beat the Grizzlies in Memphis, and then they're going to lose to the Sixers, even though they don't have Embiid. Or George, or whatever. They'll lose to the Jazz. The Wolves will have a chance to win and get the 3 seed on the final game of the season, and they'll lose to the Jazz, and Rudy Gobert will punch Kyle Anderson in the arm or something like that, and
well, that would be disappointing.
And but surely and Jaden McDaniels will punch a wall, and surely that's never happened before. But
yeah, that would be very disappointing. That'd be disappointing.
It'd be very disappointing. Until that happens, though, go Wolves. Wolves back. I don't know.
Go Wolves.
Go Wolf.
Go all of them.
Go Twin. Go Wolf. Go Wild. I guess.
Wilds. We'll do the opposite there too.
Go Wilds.
Go Wilds.
Morning Sports Desk powered by Pizza Ranch FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.